What's going on, guys? Welcome into the Brooks Bench. Test. Mike, test. Megan, test.
What's up, guys?
Make sure to let us know if you can't hear us. You guys know it's the same drill every single time. Is our audio working? Maybe. Maybe today. I don't know. But welcome into the Brooks Bench, guys. We're going over Fantasy Live, women's fantasy basketball. You guys know why you guys are here. We go over it usually every Monday, sometimes on Thursdays. But today we're going over a complicated week. Not a lot of games, not a lot of players. I know a lot of people are worried. I know I am in some leagues. I have days where I have no one, where I need people. So we're here for you. We're going to try and help you guys out. So let's get into it. So there was a trade that went down to this week, and I did want to review it. It was Ariel Atkins and Natasha Howard for Monique Billings and Marina Mabry. I know in the Discord we had discussed it a little bit. People were on both sides of the trade. But Meg, I don't think I brought this one to your attention, so I kind of wanted to get your opinion on it.
I feel like I'm leaning towards the Ariel Atkins and Natasha Howard half, because Ariel Atkins, she's heating up, I feel like. I feel like she's pretty fair to Marina because Marina's been kind of up and down as well. Mm-hmm. And then I would get the upside to Natasha. I feel like she's been a little bit more consistent. Monique was out with some injuries, so I think that had to play into it. But Valkyries are still trying to figure out their rotation.
Yeah.
We've been going to those games. We see that it changes up every game. I do see Monique Billings' time increasing. But I would still say that Natasha, to me, is the win on this trade.
And I think that was my same take. Before, there was variations of this trade the person put in the chat that we're all going back and forth on. And before Natasha Howard was put in the trade, it was kind of down to Marina Mabry and Ariel Atkins and then two role players, right? So in that aspect, I was like, who do you prefer? That one's a who do you prefer? Do you prefer Ariel Atkins or Marina Mabry? Now with this trade, I wouldn't personally give up Natasha Howard, especially with the injury concerns they got going on right now. It's just more playing time for her, more opportunities for her to score. Obviously, it's going to change. But she already showed you what she can do with the full healthy lineup of Indiana. I don't really personally want to give that up, especially because she's a forward. And you guys know forwards in fantasy are kind of hard to come by. Obviously, Marina Mabry has been killing it. Ariel Atkins did get a little bit of a boost this last week. Will she continue that? I don't know. But for me, I think I would have kept Ariel Atkins and Natasha Howard. If this was like an Ariel Atkins and a Kayla Thorin, or I don't know, I'm trying to a role player that contributes to like Monique Billings, I'd have been like, okay, fair trade. But I mean, it's whoever you want the most, though. I mean, it's who you're cheering for. So I mean, I would agree. I would be on the Ariel Atkins Natasha Howard side, unless you really, really, really wanted Marina Mabry. Would you agree?
Yeah. I feel like because Marina Mabry, Ariel Atkins straight up is pretty fair.
Yeah.
And I feel like Monique can get to Natasha's level, but she just isn't there yet. So I feel like you just sold yourself short a little bit. You might have been able to get someone a little bit more for instead of Monique.
Definitely. No other trades went down in our fantasy leagues anyways, but you guys are always welcome to share, especially in the live chat, if any like crazy trades went down, and we can like go over our opinions of them. But for trades, that was the only one that went down this week. I know I sent out some trades, not a lot. I don't know who I want. I still think I'm settling on the identity of my fantasy team that I want to have. I mean, have you sent out any trades, Meg?
Yeah, I've been getting some kind of outrageous trade.
You get a lot of trade requests. I've seen your requests.
Yeah.
They are kind of crazy. I will say that. Let's go over to the injury update. A lot of updates. If you guys haven't already, we did post our week 2 recap. Go ahead and check that one out. We did go over a lot of these injuries already. So I won't go over who returned. We already went over that. Jordan Canada, though, she did tweet it's go time. So I'm thinking she's going to be back in a week or maybe 2. But it's definitely soon. Lindsay Allen, she's now going to be out 10 to 12 days. Rakia Jackson, personal out. We did talk about our opinions on that in our weekly recap, so we won't touch too much on that. I'm just hoping she comes back soon because I need her. I drafted her. So, Niara Sabli is still out with a knee. Ty Harris out with knee. Paige Becker is going to be out a minimum of 2 games with a concussion. Sydney Colson's playing, right? She wasn't on an injury report. So that's actually an update from this morning. Sophie Cunningham's out. Obviously, Caitlin Clark's out. Tiffany Hayes is probably going to be out. We were at the game. Did not look good. I mean, if it is a broken nose and it gets hit again, I mean, you know that pain right there. Alyssa Thomas out again with a calf. And then actually Kalani Brown popped up on the injury report today. Knee questionable. And she was actually a player we were going to highlight with our waiver wire pickups. Mm-hmm. So that one's a kind of a bummer. So keep your eye on that one as well. Game counts in the week. You guys already know it's a struggle. The only teams that have 3 games, Dallas, Phoenix, Washington. And I really don't have a lot of those players, unfortunately, and for me. But everyone, I mean, God, a lot of 1 or 2 games this week. It's pretty scarce, which is really unfortunate. But we have to take that in consideration when we're doing our pickups on the wire. So, with that said, our waiver wire rankings, we only cover people that are available in 50% of leagues or less. So not the 54%, 70%. If they're there, go ahead and get them. But we're going to be talking about those players that are still available in 50% or less, who are 50% or less rostered. We do break it down in tiers. I didn't have any must pickups of the week. I mean, I know Megan didn't because she didn't put any on the dock. Yeah. There wasn't really anyone that stood out this last week. So we're going straight to solid ads. Sammy Whitcomb, we have not talked about enough, unfortunately. Sorry, apologies for that. But she's been secretly killing it. Mm-hmm. 27 fantasy points, 29 fantasy points in the last 2 games. Obviously, the injuries have something to do with that, right? Erica Wheeler, also killing it. 26 points, 20 fantasy points the last 2 games. Those 2 right there, I wouldn't have categorized a must pick up. I almost did. But those are the 2 top names I feel like I would for sure add this week, especially with Phoenix having 3 games. Sammy's a very smart pickup. With that said, I do want to segue into, we were asked a question today in the Discord. Would you drop Phoebich or Nelson Adota for Sammy Whitcomb? I said Phoebich because Phoebich only has 1 game. Megan said Adota. Adota has 2 games. And this week's scarce, Meg. So you need to give me a little bit more of why you'd hold on to Phoebich.
I think it depends. Like, if you have other solid players that are going to get you, like, I would look at your matchups for the whole week and determine if you feel like just because you hold on to Phoebich through this rough week, whether or not that's really going to affect you from being in the game in that week. Because Phoebich has been heating up, and Phoebich is one of those players where she can pop off. She's already starting. She's getting the minutes. So I would just be a little hesitant on dropping her, in my opinion. If I had the choice, I would drop Aaliyah because I feel like Aaliyah would be one that I'd be able to get back maybe on the waiver wire. So that's like Phoebich, someone else might pick her up and then hold her, and then you may never see her again. So that's kind of my take on it. I do think Sammy's worth dropping Olivia for. Especially if you need her. Like, this is one of those rough weeks where there's going to be a lot of determining whether or not you want to drop players just because of the 1 game this week, 2 games this week. But then you got to also think, I mean, some weeks you got to take the risks and hold them for the next couple weeks where they do go back to having multiple games. So.
Yeah. I mean, it is true. I like Olivia Nelson-Adota. I think that's why I was more partial to keeping her and dropping Phoebich. Yeah. I've seen Phoebich and Adota on the wire multiple weeks being picked up and dropped. I wouldn't be too worried about it, but I think you're right. People will probably be more inclined to holding Phoebich. So if you're scared you're not going to get Phoebich back, then go Adota. But, I mean, Sammy Whitcomb is definitely the top pickup of the week, especially because she has 3 games. The injury concerns for Phoenix, and she's taking over a primary, fantasy scoring role. I feel like that didn't help you or answer your questions because we're split. But the best way for me, and I think how I explained it in the Discord, is match up your players day to day. And I know it's going to be a close week. I think it's going to be a close week for a lot of people. I think we're all hurting in any capacity this week.
Yeah. Commissioner Cup.
Oh, the Commissioner Cup schedule, yeah. It is bad. I agree with you guys. Other than that, we have familiar names on this list. Obviously, Catherine Westbelt popped off a little bit for Phoenix. So that was good to see. Odyssey Sims. Man, 46 fantasy points was insane. Will she do it again? I don't know. But with Rakia Jackson out, I feel like Odyssey Sims is able to step into that, a different role, obviously, but another person that can score for LA. And LA is just in shambles right now.
And she's only towards the bottom for solid ad because, again, LA only has one game this week.
Yeah, exactly.
In that one game, is she gonna pop off again for 46? I don't think so.
No.
So I just couldn't rank her high here. I had to put her kind of low because you have to understand if you pick her up, you're only gonna get one use out of her this week.
Yeah. Other than that, we've talked about Hines Allen, Lexi Hull a bunch. You guys already know our stance on them. So I do want to go over to some viable streamers. I will say, I know. Meg, you ended up taking over the rankings, and I believe Naz Hillman is low because they only have one game.
Yes.
Someone's asking, is Naz Hillman worth a pickup? In my opinion, yes. The only thing is she is only going to play that one game. You can get one good use out of her, probably, but 3 consecutive games of 24 fantasy points, 26 fantasy points, 23 fantasy points. That's solid. So, I mean, I think she's worth a pickup. It's tough because Nia Coffey was doing good for a stretch, right? Where we can depend on Nia Coffey. So, I mean, what's your take on Naz?
Yeah, I think Naz, Nia Coffey, they're good pickups. They've been getting solid play. We have to understand that Brittany Griner's back. So some of that high play, especially from Naz filling in, was because Brittany was out with her knee. So we have to know that that's going to come back into play. And then, again, they only have one game this week as well. So unless you're picking them up to stash them for next week or something, I'd be hesitant because there's some other players out here that have more games, like Bridget Carlton. I know Bria Hartley didn't have a good game the past week, but I still see that. I still think that she's going to get a lot of minutes and have those games where she could score high. So,
yeah. The only things I have concern for is, like, Bridget Carlton. I know you have her up here. Have you not? Like, is there no concern? Like, what's it called? Like, over the season. I just feel like Minnesota, Carly Samuelson and her, I'm very concerned about.
I would say more Jessica Shepard. I know when they played the Valkyrie, I feel like Bridget Carlton still got a little bit more minutes than Jessica Shepard. And then and that was already Samuelson. It was already a concern for me when McBride came back. So I think I wouldn't give up on Bridget Carlton yet.
Okay. Another Kalani Brown was going to be a highlight of mine. The questionable knee now on the injury report kind of is like a bummer because she did get the second half start last game. So it was just, for me, I was thinking, oh, maybe she'll get the start this game. So I was like, Kalani Brown could be a sneaky ad that I feel like no one's picked up Kalani Brown in a lot of our leagues that we've been in. She's really available on the waiver wire. So that's another person I wanted to highlight. And then Rebecca Allen. If Rebecca Allen ever gets some some good minutes, Rebecca Allen comes through usually with the minutes that she's provided, right?
Yeah.
And then I know a lot of people were high on Kennedy Burke. Kennedy Burke is a great pickup once Jonquel Jones is out. I feel like she's going to step up in that role. But there's too many people that need the ball in New York. But Kennedy Burke was a solid play.
I would just say she's not consistent unless someone like Jonquel is out, like you said. I just feel like, and then they only have one game this week. There's other players. I think Kalani Brown is still going to be a great, valuable streamer. AT was already ruled out. So if she's healthy, keep an eye on that. If she's healthy, I would grab her. Yeah. She's going to get those minutes, especially with AT out.
I do want to touch on Alleman because we had talked about it previously. Yeah. What's your kind of take on that?
Well, we threw a fit because she's been coming off the bench, killing it. It feels like the coach finally listens, starts her, and then she doesn't have the greatest game. But I think there always comes adjustment, right? When you are coming off the bench, it's just a different vibe than starting. So I just feel like give her another game. Let's see how it works out. But I still think that she's a better start than Sarah Ashley Barker. She handles the ball well. It moves Plum to be on the wing, where I think Plum is a little bit better.
Yeah.
But I just say give it another game, and it should be good. Again, she's ranked a little bit lower. They only have one game.
With that said, let's just go over to the risky streamers. Sarah Ashley Barker is definitely in this. Was she in this? Did we put her in this? Because I think her minutes are gonna get cut with the Almond.
Well, I don't think we know what's happening with Rakia, so
yeah, we need some more questions answered. But I don't trust it. But if she's all that's out there and you need a player, it's a risky stream. I mean, she can get you double-digit fantasy points, and that's good. But I mean, she can also dud out. That can go away from her. I feel like that same thing with Jade Melbourne. She's taken that dip. I feel like Shug Sutton has stepped up and is more reliable now, and Jade's kind of taken that back seat. I don't know if that's going to just change between her and Shug Sutton throughout the season.
I think the reason we have Jade here and not Sug is I still think that Jade is going to give you a little bit more consistent numbers. She's going to get you something. There's times where Suggs can zero out. She can dud out. So, I think that's why we still have Jade ranked high. They have a lot of games. Washington has 3 games this week. And she just has that ability to get, I mean, she's fast. Jade can, 2 steps in, she'd be taken off down the court if she gets a steal on you. So I just feel like she has the upside, in my opinion, over Sugg. Sugg is just not consistent for me.
For me, I have the complete opposite opinion. I'd rather have Sugg. She's already treated me well a couple of times off the waiver. So, I mean, that's why I have Sugg ranked higher than Jade. On the other hand, the 2 players from Phoenix that we have debated in the past, Lexi Held and Loxa, I don't know how to say her name. I don't think I'll ever get it. But those 2 go back and forth. That's why they're the risky streamers. Yeah. Because I feel like one day we're high on one day we're high on another. They flip-flop in fantasy production. And they're at this point, they're just labeled a risky stream.
You just gotta get lucky.
They're going to get minutes. You just have to get lucky of who pops off. I will say, I think I'll lean towards Held more. I know Latska's had some really good games these last 2 games, but I think I would go Held a little bit more if we had to lean one way or another. And then, last one I do want to point out before you can go, May, Dana Evans. I don't know. I like what she does. She doesn't get that many minutes, but, I mean, I'll take 10 fantasy points if I really need it. So, it's not a lot, but it's steady. Anyone you want to point out?
Well, Clark's coming back from injury. Yeah. I think the last game is her getting back her footing. I hope to see her get back into jail where she's able to put up more fantasy points. I know they're needing a 3-point shooter, and hopefully she can step into that role. We haven't really seen it yet, even before the injury, but that makes it risky because the potential is there. And then Maya Caldwell, she's been a contributing factor, but I would be wary of this one just because if Jordan Canada comes back, she's going to take minutes. I think there's going to be a transition period to get her back in game shape. Like, she hasn't played in a while, so I don't think it'll affect Maya right away, but I think down the line it potentially could. So I would just be mindful of that, but this next week, Maya should still be a good play. They only got 1 game anyway, so...
Eric's asking, is it worth to pick up McDonald or any other injury replacement players?
You know what?
I wouldn't say McDonald because Sydney Colson's coming back. If Colson was out, I would give it a glance, but I doubt it because they play tomorrow, right? She's probably not going to play a lot of minutes. Especially if Colson's back, I don't see like that wide open lane where it's like, oh yeah, she could probably give you 16 minutes.
Yeah, I feel like she'll get minutes in the Chicago game on Saturday.
If she's still there.
Yeah.
You guys know how fast they'll drop a player after they sign them for a hardship, so. Like
because Clark, my understanding, Clark is right there to come back, so yeah, that's a wait and see what happens.
I mean, like, for example, like Haley Jones was just recently signed, Jaylen Brown, I don't think I would pick up any of those. You have to wait and see with those ones. Mm-hmm. There's nothing clear cut. So I mean that's just our opinion though.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's something a little bit better out there. We all know, and I think you're asking about McDonald though because we all know how she can play and she's been fantasy relevant. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. Like, she's only been there a couple days. They play tomorrow. I don't know if Indiana's really going to use her like that. Mm-hmm. So, I've been holding on to Jordan Canada, but gosh, it's been a long wait. Yeah.
I know. It's been rough, even since last year. She came back from an injury last year, played, and it took her a little bit of, getting back into it, and then she hurt her wrist, I believe it was. I think it was wrist or thumb or something like that.
Yeah.
And then was out again. So it's been frustrating because everyone knows Jordan Canada's game. She was killing it in LA when she went to Atlanta, and everyone was excited for that. The triplets of her, Alicia, and Howard. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so.
And then let's go over Q&A. Before we announce, I basically, I'm not clickbaited. I told everyone we have news that we'll be announcing, but I'll save it for after our Q&A. There's only one question. Is Aaliyah Edwards a good drop candidate, Megan, or should we exercise patience?
Aaliyah Edwards. I went ahead and dropped her. I feel like until she starts proving herself again, I mean, we all know what she did in, what was it, Unrivaled. Yeah. We all saw how great of a player she is and stuff, but I just haven't seen it yet. She hasn't really gotten fully worked back into that rotation. And now you see Shakira trying to come back and show what she's been doing. I mean, last game she popped off for the minutes she got, so I would expect the coach to, feed more minutes into her until Aaliyah can show us a little bit more. Mm-hmm. So I would drop her, and then just be on it with your waiver wire once she starts to pick back up, because with the way the games are going right now, as far as limited teams playing, I feel like a lot of people are needing to go to the waiver wires just to stay in their matchup. Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, I know in one of my leagues I had to drop her.
Yeah, I had to drop her as well. I also have Nafisa and Rakia on IR for a second, and it was between her and Maisha Hines-Allen. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to do it, but I did it. Her production wasn't the same as Hines-Allen. I needed a high productive player this week. It was heartbreaking. I really wanted to believe that Aaliyah Edwards was going to pop off. I think the injury set her back. Kiki doing so well is also setting her back. What Kiki was doing is what I projected Aaliyah Edwards to do this season.
Yeah. And the depth, man, it's just crazy what they got over there. They have so much talent. Oh my gosh, I said Dotson. Dolson. It's just a lot going on in the bigs there, right? Yeah. I think that no one knew how well Kiki was going to do, and now Kiki's making a name for herself, that it's hard for a coach to be like, well, I know what Aaliyah can do, but I have Kiki popping off, but let me put Kiki on the bench. Yeah. It's just, you just can't do that, right? Yes. Kiki's the reason, like, her, Sonia, they've all been the reason of why Washington is where they are, and I just feel like Aaliyah has to kind of earn those minutes, and it's going to take some time. And so I think you just have to time it. You just have to keep an eye on it and time it.
Yeah. And the other thing is the rotation. I mean, their rotation is just quick. Like, you have to have impactful minutes when you're in, and if you're not on, I mean, they're just going to keep going with the rotation. So it's like, good luck. And you kind of don't want that player for fantasy. Sure, you can gamble and risk it, but I believe her highest fantasy day was maybe like 16 points. It wasn't even a lot. So, I mean, you're risking it on only a couple of, she gets maybe 16 minutes a game.
It's low right now.
So, it's like you're risking it on that when you could have a player that gets more minutes. So, I mean, it hurts my heart, but we've all had to make tough decisions, and Aaliyah Edwards is probably one of those tough decisions you're going to have to make, especially if you want to continue to be competitive. Not to say that she won't pick it up later, right? So, any other question? Oh my God, my voice. Any other questions before we move on? Any start sits? Any trades?
Someone asked, is Naz Hillman worth a pickup?
We went over that.
Oh, we established that, yeah.
Yeah, we went over Naz Hillman already. I feel like a lot of trade requests have been happening. I feel like trades were very, like, prevalent the first week. You guys were trading, like, the first week, like, bang, bang, bang. But if you guys don't have any other questions, we're going to be adding a new segment to the show. To our Fantasy Live show. I don't know if it's going to transition to the weekly recap show.
Yeah.
That show's already long.
We'll probably start a Discord channel, though.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you're into WNBA fantasy, you guys are really going to like this. It's called Pick'em Plays of the Day. Megan, I know Megan's better at explaining this, so Megan, go ahead.
So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using Underdog and do the Underdog Pick'ems. And basically all you do is you pick players to go higher or lower on. I know people in our Discord used to ask us, like last year, like, oh, would you think that this person's going to score this many points? Or do you think they'll get assists or rebounds? And all these questions where I'm like, let's just make a game out of it. Let's just use Underdog and let's compete with each other and see, okay, who can choose the right players to score over the points or under the points. So with that being said, we have partnered with Underdog. So if you are a new user, you can definitely use our code. They will get you, if you use our code for a first timer though, you have to be a first timer to the app. The Brooks Bench is our code. You'll get up to 1,000 in bonus funds, which means they'll match your funds. Whatever you put in, they'll match it. But yeah, so moving forward, you know, anytime we do a live, we will share what our picks are. You can either copy us, tell us, or compete against us and say, oh, you know what, your picks are great, but we can do better.
Yeah.
And we'll just see at the end of the week, or actually the day, because we can do it by day. We'll probably stick to days that have more games because it gives us more options.
Yeah.
And we'll just, you know, see who can do better.
Yeah, so that's the news. We are Underdog partner, and we are going to be, basically, this is more of Megan's speed. You guys always ask Megan,
yeah,
you know, what is she, you know, what are her picks and stuff like that. So we're going to go over Megan's picks. Okay? So let's get into it.
This is going to be for tomorrow's slate of games.
Yeah.
So
you're up.
All right. So I don't know what order you got on there, but we got Kiki higher than 12.5 points, which means she just needs 13 points for that to go green. We got McBride higher than 15.5 points. Gabby Williams, 21.5 points, rebound, assist. So that means that she can score points, rebound, and assist. She just needs to do it 22 times and get green on that. Kelsey Mitchell. All right, she has been struggling, guys. I feel like she is going to have a better game on Tuesday, but I don't think it's going to be coming from the three-point line. So as long as she doesn't make three-pointers, we'll be all good to go. And then Satu Sabli, she's been killing it on the boards. Like we mentioned, Alyssa Thomas is going to be out. So this just means that Satu is going to be down there trying to grab those rebounds. She needs 8 for us to do good. So let us know if you're going to tell us on this, or if you're going to challenge us by going opposite, maybe, to prove us wrong on our picks.
Yeah.
Or just to compare notes. Maybe you take 1 or 2 from us, and then you combine it with some of the ones you feel are going to do well. And then come see us Wednesday to see how we do. We're going to start a Discord channel for it. So that's probably where I'll put what my results were, how it worked out for me. And I would love to see what you guys do there.
Yeah, no, it'd be cool to follow along and just compete with one another. I mean, everyone has their strategy of how they do their picks, and I think that's pretty cool. This is Megan's speed right here, guys. So yeah, I'm quiet, but like Megan got it. You guys can ask her in the Discord. I'll put it under Underdog in our Discord. But yeah, if you guys are new to Underdog, make sure to use our promo code TheBrookesBench. You guys can scan the QR code or just download the app. I'm pretty sure it's easy like that. Download the app.
Just enter
the code TheBrookesBench, and then it'll give you bonus funds. So that'll be something that we're going to be keeping up throughout the season, basically. I don't know how often you're going to want to do it, Meg.
I'll have to see. I'll kind of have to see what the lineups look like. You know, the more WNBA games, the better. So I'll probably stick to the Tuesday, Friday, and the weekend games because usually there's multiple games going on. I apologize ahead of time. I'm probably going to be going against some of your fantasy players. I might be going for some of your fantasy players. Yeah. So, sorry.
No, but like, do you want to? Are you gonna go live, or are you just gonna put in the Discord? Like, how are you gonna tell them your picks?
I might do a couple short lives just to chat, and maybe we can chat it out. We can kind of discuss like what you guys are thinking, what I'm thinking. But I will always put my final decisions in the Discord. So if you're not following us, please get on Discord. Because I will make sure that anytime I'm choosing anything, I share it with you guys.
Yeah, that'll be good. So we will definitely blast when Meg will be going live for Underdog Pick'ems. What are you calling your thing? Pick'em plays of the day. Dang, that's a little run-on
plays of the day.
Wow, super catchy.
It'll catch on.
Yeah. So we'll definitely blast when she'll be going live, sharing her picks and stuff like that. But there was one more question in the Discord. Where did it go? I can only keep 3 of the 4 below. Burton, Makani, Sims, Nelson Adota. Which 3 would you keep? I would keep Sims.
Burton.
You just don't like Adota, because I know you're going to say Makani, but she also has 3 games.
Yeah, I gotta go Makani.
I think I would do the same 3.
I just, part of it too is Connecticut's been struggling. Connecticut does have 2 games this week. And I know that Burton has 1, but Burton's been popping off, and she's just consistent right now where I just feel like I don't want to have to lose her even though she only has 1 game. Or no, they have 2, actually. Because they play Saturday and they play, Thursday? So, yeah. But yeah, I think I would drop Nelson. I think that there's a chance that you can get her back. Connecticut's been struggling, and so, in my opinion, players on that team, you can kind of drop and pick back up.
Yeah, I think I have to choose those 3 as well. Any other questions? I need to make you that channel on Discord, actually.
Yeah. We'll get it over.
Yeah, but if you guys are new here and you're just joining us, we go live every Monday. Sometimes we go live on Thursday as a catch-all show in case anything major pops up. But stay tuned. I mean, we'll be going more live because of our Underdog stuff, so that'll be fun. Looking forward to doing that. If you are new, make sure to hit the subscribe button and like the live. We appreciate the likes and the comments and stuff like that. And if you have questions and we're not live, join our Discord. The link is already in our description of the video, so you go ahead and click that. But yeah, we appreciate you guys so much. Thank you guys. We'll be back probably next Monday. Do we have a game this week? Oh, no, we don't. We're not going to any Valkyries games.
Next Saturday.
But if you guys need another live on Thursday, like I said, it's a catch-all live. We usually put some feelers out there to see if anyone wants us to go live on Thursday, and then we'll kind of go from there. So like I said, we appreciate you guys' support so much. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, join our Discord if you have any questions. And yeah, we'll be sure to answer them over there. So thank you guys so much. Have a good rest of your night. Peace.